What is up? Welcome to the Smalley Talk Podcast. This is your host, Josh Shrinko. Got my boy Christian Vaughn on the other line. What's up, brother?
Hey, man. Well, it's the most wonderful time of the year. I
It's
gotta
NFL
say.
draft night. Is that what we're saying?
No,
NFL
no,
draft
dude.
night?
Honestly, like,
NBA
I don't care
playoffs?
at all.
NBA
NBA
playoffs?
playoffs, spring, turkey season's in full tit.
Dude, hey, guess what? Guess what?
Smallmouth are
Like,
running.
Pacers have been in the playoffs 2 years in a row. I'm starting to associate that with the pre-spawn.
I really am, dude.
Last
It's
year we were catching pre-spawn fish. We were watching Pacers playoff games. I
Yep,
feel like it's becoming a tradition. The Pacers are back, baby. We're back.
dude. It's been so much fun. It's been an awesome. Yeah, I was. This is gonna sound like crazy take. So, we're joining you. It's at the end of April. We just got back from a great trip to the
Wild
Susquehanna.
trip, dude. Wild
Wild
trip.
trip, absolutely wild behavior out there.
One,
So
we've had some wild trips, dude. This is up there. This
this
is
is. I
it's
have
up
to
there.
say, this was up there. So we're gonna get into that a little bit for sure. But
Hey, it
yeah,
was so wild. I didn't even know if I was gonna make it back with my mustache. I thought I was gonna get that thing just ripped off, dude. It was
oh boy.
wild.
Yep. Oh, I thought you were too, and I was worried for you, buddy. So, so here's the deal. The Pacers season has been incredible. It's been awesome. Welcome to the Smalley Pacers Talk podcast, dude.
Chris
This is
invited me to a game. We just went to a
yeah.
game together, dude.
Just went to a
It
game. It was
it was
very fun.
it was awesome.
Um, yeah, it's been. I talked so on the trip that we just went on. It was Jeremy Crow, myself, Alex Deneau, and Josh, which was a great crew, chopped down crew. But it's kind of a last minute deal. We weren't really sure what we were going to do with the trip, if we were going to go out in jet boat or kayak, or when we were going to, it kind of was like a last minute thrown together thing. I'll just say that
And it
the
was,
crew
I mean,
was,
springtime too is
yeah,
it's like
it's
you can
such a
plan all
gamble.
you want. Yeah, but we were literally up until 2 days before we left. We were not sure if we were going to be able to go or not.
Yeah. So, very, very fun. Great trip, great crew. But yeah, the Pacers thing has been incredible. I was telling Alex on the trip, like, I feel like Henry and I, my oldest and I, have like bonded so much over the Pacers season that it's like been, yeah, it's been an awesome father son
Been
thing.
sick,
I
dude.
think it's been pretty special. So looking forward to the rest of the playoffs for sure. But yeah, I'm the same
Burton,
way, dude.
baby. Burton. What the
It's
Burton, dude?
dude, this time of year it's been an incredible couple years for spring. So fishing, basketball, all the outdoor stuff that you can handle. So yeah, it was pretty awesome. Um, and you got to go freaking when we got back. You went 2 days ago.
Yeah, I was honestly, I'm just a freaking piece of shit fishing bum, dude. I get back from a trip and I'm
I
like
d-
scheming to go
I
again.
swear, when you sent me a photo, 5-day fishing trip. We get back 2 days later. I just get a photo of like a pretty big smallmouth that's clearly not on our trip. I was like, "Are you kidding?" I just sent back LOL. What do you do? So I don't know, dude. That's wild
Well,
behavior, dude. That
you
is
know,
bass burgers on a full flare.
well, I mean, honestly, I was like, babe, I was like, it'd be really nice just after work one of these days. Let's just go out on the boat, just enjoy, the outdoors. And Katie's a sucker for like outdoor stuff. Like she likes being on the boat, on the back of the boat. That's why we went to the New River for, spring break. And yeah, so we just like, I was like, yeah, let's go this day. And like, she texted me and was like, um, "Oh, it's really cold and it's windy," and I just, like, sent her a sad face, and then she was like, "Okay, I'll still go. I just have to wear a sweatshirt." So, um, but yeah, we went out, actually busted them up pretty good, so, yeah,
Unbelievable.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it's pretty nice. You guys went on the south side of Indianapolis, right?
Dirty South, baby. Yeah,
Yeah, pretty
yeah.
awesome. That's so close too. So
15 minutes for me, and it's even closer for you, so,
it's
uh,
5 minutes for me. Yeah, I
yeah.
haven't even been once. My trolling motor's in freaking the dungeon right now
I
getting
heard
it
it. We had several
fixed.
gear
Broker.
scares during we had several gear scares, including one tremendous. I wouldn't even call it a scare. It was a quite the incident. We're not sure if this story will be told this episode or future episodes, but we got a doozy to
Or
tell. and
later, or
and
not at all.
Chris had there was multiple things I had to like I had to gather my inner Mexican MacGyver skills, and I got Chris's trolling motor working again because there was fear it was broken. Then he actually completely demolished it the
Yeah.
same day.
Yeah, hit her pretty hard, I'd say. It was yeah, there the Susquehanna is pretty famous for its ledges. Found one. Found a pretty sharp one. As I was drifting about 5 miles per hour, trolling motor just goosed down into the water. So the collar that's like on the shaft of my trolling motor like loosens
Yeah.
up on its own sometimes and it falls down. So it had fallen down and I clearly had not seen it because this area was like there's no way your trolling motor should be all the way down. I'm floating damn near 6 miles per hour, I would say. I mean, just ripping. Jeremy and I are talking, whatever. All of a sudden, dude, it hit so hard that like the boat, I was on 10, okay? Hit so hard that like the boat, like it almost like rocked me like I was going to get thrown out of the boat,
Which we've done before.
which I've done before, but I feel like you know, this one was, I was floating downstream and it like bent the shaft. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know what's wrong with it. It's
not a great.
cracking.
That
So,
that Susquehanna is, she can be an angry beast, dude. She can like really be hard on equipment. I can imagine if we lived there, you probably would have to either be constantly repairing your boat
yeah.
or like have some bulletproof equipment, which is why rockproof is made there. It's
Yeah.
no
I tell you
coincidence.
this, it didn't matter what kind of boat you have. If you hit your trolling motor going 5 miles per hour, fully fracking goose down into the water, it's going to cause some major, major problems for you.
Yeah, and
Um,
in this trip, honestly, there's we're gonna get into the fishing
let's do
aspect
it,
of
dude.
it because
Get it in.
it was really fun. But I would say other than the story that will or will not be told during this episode, which
Oh boy.
that absolutely defined the trip. Um, the main the other defining thing to this trip was wind, dude. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, we had some rough goes, dude.
Dude,
Oh,
the
so we'll
first
just
2
start it
days, it
off.
was insane. Like, the
So
wind I've never experienced anything like that before
no,
on a boat.
same, absolutely same. I mean, it was. We've been out on some sustained windy days for sure, but like this was all day. All day.
Oh, dude.
So anyways, we get out there and the river's a little up, I would say. Wouldn't you say it's a little up, but not
I'd say it's
stained?
more than a little up. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was the river was I mean, it wasn't, like, high, like, "Oh my gosh, it's blown out high," but, like, it was like, "Okay, clearly this thing's, like, up." And
yeah,
especially the Juniata, that was up even more so than the main river. So I felt
mhm,
like, wherever we fish, whether it was the main river or the tributaries, like you were feeling that current the whole time. We were there. And towards the end, I feel like it was like, okay, it's starting to get a little bit more
yeah.
manageable. But
Speaking of, if there are any lithium battery companies out there that want to sponsor our podcast, I need you. Please reach out to me. I
yeah,
need
you were
your batteries.
struggling with the battery, the power
Yeah.
management. I know. Luckily, we had
Uh,
a house that was at a convenient. Awesome house, dude. It was
Yeah.
on the river, had a ramp, had a
Yeah.
private ramp,
Private
which
ramp.
we used multiple times. It was and the fishing around the house was super good.
Yep.
It was in an area where I feel like you could launch and you wouldn't see very many people,
At
you
all.
know?
Yeah. It was
Yeah,
great,
yeah.
man. The spot was great. I really wanted to do more exploration on the main river and kind of do some different stretches that I'd never seen before and done. This was the house that we rented happened to be on a stretch of the river that I don't think either one of us had ever done. But you've been out there many more times than I
I'd
have. So
been around the area, like, upstream of there, but I had never been.
yes, well, as had I. Not
Yeah,
not
I'd been up and downstream of there, but that, like, probably,
yes.
like, 2-mile section right there I had never done, um
I was
but
kind of the
yeah,
same way. I had been
yeah,
above it and below it,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
it was very awesome. So anyways, the river was up for sure. And I would say that the character, like just describing the river while we were out there, it dropped a lot in the 4 days that we were out there. I would say it was
Oh, yeah,
clear. It was not really clearing because the river really wasn't that dirty, but like the main river sections of it were clearing, like they were getting super clear.
yeah.
Um, but it was definitely dropping. Like the water level was dropping quite a bit. So yeah, that's the river and the way it's set up. And I think the water temp was like low 50s, right? 51, 52.
When we got there, yeah, it was barely cracking 50, and we had I think the first day was actually or the second day was the coldest. First day was, like, windy and somewhat manageably warm, and then the second day, I had, like, my winter
Yeah.
shit on. It was, like, high of, like, 46 and super windy, and then we got hailed on that day. Like,
The
it
first
was
day, the first day we
the
got
second day was when we got hailed on. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it was the second day.
no, the first day is the day that we had like four different
Oh,
seasons.
yeah, you're right,
And
you're
we
right.
had four different, like
Yes.
it's hailed on us. It was sunshiny and clear and
That was
warm.
so bizarre.
It lightning and thundered on us, but the one constant throughout the entire day
Wind.
was like a 35 mile per hour sustained wind. Like
Yeah,
30 to 30. It was probably 30.
sucked.
Wouldn't you say? A sustained wind of
Yeah.
about 30?
Yeah, but, like, the gusts, dude, there was a couple gusts that were probably over 50. Like, it
It
was
was
like
crazy.
yeah, it was like there was one point, I mean, I beached my boat 3 different times because I was like, I can't be on the water with it like this, like, we gotta, like, beach it." Like,
Yeah.
it was pretty intense there a couple times, so, yeah.
It was
No.
pretty yeah, and that was a day Alex and I were fishing together, and I don't know, dude, we kind of employed a few different tactics, but um I'll just say that I broke off several big fish throughout the day that haunt me still. So, but we ended up having a pretty good day. I think Alex and I did. Did you and Jeremy kind of had a fairly moderate day, wouldn't you say?
No, I think that was actually one of our better days. We just were not getting the size. Like,
Oh,
I don't
that's
know
right. That's
what
what
the
it was.
deal was. Yeah, we went on a flurry there after that storm rolled through where I was catching fish like every third cast,
Yeah.
and it was a chatterbait. And when we got it was kind of that first day, and really throughout the whole trip, a white chatterbait was like
Yeah.
really that was like and of course I had like 2 white chatterbaits. All my chatterbaits are like a darker color.
Same.
I was
Yeah.
like, go figure. But yeah, white
I was throwing a white spinnerbait. Same thing, basically.
yeah, I didn't throw a spinnerbait at all.
Yeah.
I kinda got a little bit of a throughout the trip, I got a little bit of a, I got stubborn, and I was like, "You know what? I wanna throw." It wasn't a mag draft, but these mag draft type swim baits I throw, I just like that bite so much, like, I was just like, "I'm just
Yeah.
gonna throw it," and that it
You stuck with that basically every after the first day, every single day.
yeah, it was just that's a fun I didn't go there to catch them on although your Ned rig was pushing me to the limit because you were torching them on a Ned rig, and I was like I was looking at Alex and I was like, "Dude, I do not wanna pick up this fucking Ned rig," but I would fish it for a little bit, and then I was like, "Screw this, dude, I'm not doing this. I didn't come to
That's
Pennsylvania to do that."
that's honestly what I was doing. Here's why I did it. I was in the front of the boat,
I know why you did it because 'cause you're
and I
catching
was I
fish.
was catching 3 to 4. I my other backup, like the white I fished a white spinnerbait, like the other, you know, that was like my 2 rods I had out the entire time, basically.
Mhm.
And so, like, the guy in the back of the boat was fishing a spinnerbait or a chatterbait, and they would Like we would catch as we moved to different spots, we both catch like one or two off the moving bait, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna switch, and he can keep fishing that, and he would catch one or two more, and I would catch 7 or 8 more, out of those spots. So it was just kind of one of those things that like I got to do a little bit of both, but I would say that I spent way more time doing it than I wanted to on the trip.
Yeah, I mean, there's no shame in it, especially, I mean,
A little bit of shame. I felt
I
slight
think
shame.
I mean, I wouldn't have felt it because we've had other scenarios where Pickering's famous for absolutely obliterating
Yeah.
everybody on a Ned rig, and I think you learned that, like, springtime in
That's what I was
particular,
doing.
the
I
Ned
was doing
rig,
his exact technique.
yeah, springtime, and we won't tell exactly how it's fished because it isn't quite how you would probably think you would fish it, but, it's a little bit of a trade secret, but, the that Ned rig in the spring in particular, just the spring, I feel like as you move into the summertime, it produces a lot of, like, small fish, but dude, you can freaking crush giants on it in the spring. It is a deadly, deadly, deadly Nedley is what they call it, the
Mhm.
deadly
Mhm.
Nedley. But,
We
yeah,
had
dude.
a it was definitely a different, so we did a lot of the fishing right there at the house, at least I did.
Mhm.
Um, I would say that we pretty much had the river to ourselves the entire week. Would you agree?
Ye yeah, dude, I mean, we were talking about this before we came on, but, I have a bone to pick with Pennsylvania anglers, and I'm sure it's like this other places. So it's not unique to Pennsylvania, but dude, like the Susquehanna River is, you know, for the type of fishing we do, like it really doesn't get any better just from a combination of like mass water to fish, quality of, volume of fish, quality of fish, all that stuff combined. I mean, it is truly a river smallmouth treasure. And they're one of the like great things about it is just the sheer amount of water to fish. And you really, no matter if it's on a weekend or not, you should never have to feel like shoulder to shoulder in that river. It's just too big, too wide, too much habitat for those fish to be in. And we all know in the springtime that fish migrate towards tributary mouths, creek mouths. Like that's a pattern, whatever. But like it's just one place. Like
Yeah.
there's other places where pre-spawn fish go. Like, but creek mouths are easy to target. And dude, I've never seen anything like that in my life.
I haven't
These
either.
guys, there's an empty river, and there will be 15, 20 boats in this tiny little creek on top of each other. And like,
I thought it was
guys,
I thought it was like
what are we
a
doing?
consequence of like the high winds. I thought people were tucking in for like trying to
Yeah,
get
but then
away
it
from
wasn't
the
like
wind,
that.
but it wasn't like
No,
that on the days that it wasn't windy. So I don't know if that's just the thing out there or what, but
it's
I don't know.
honestly, it's pretty
I'm fine
shameful. You
with
think
it.
a Ned rig's shameful, dude? The Ned rig's shameful? I think not. The stacking and creek mouths, guys, like, don't be posting pics of
But
a bunch of big fish if you're getting them in creek mouths there, dude. I'm sorry. It's not the same. It's not the same as going to find them on the main river. Like, and I mean that I don't mean
that's
like,
a hard stance.
yeah, well, I'm sorry, dude. I don't mean that by tributaries because there are tributaries where you can go fish. The Juniata is one of them's like bigger. It's not you're not cornering fish into like a little pool. Like, dude, we're talking like creeks that are like not big at all. And you got like boats like right next to each other. And the shameful thing is the guides go up in there. Like the guides go up in there, and I'll call out any Susquehanna guide. I don't care. Like, if you pay a guide to take you out on the Susquehanna River and they run you up in the creek with 10 other boats, dude, I I would be like so mad. I would be like, take me out of here. I do not want to be here. That is so, so terrible. And so
I went up in the creek. Did you not? You didn't go up into any creeks while you were there at all?
I mean, I'm not saying that it's not okay to go up in the creek at some point and fish it, like, it's fine.
Damn it,
Like,
you keep freezing
don't
up on me.
spend don't spend the whole
Hold
day,
on.
though.
Oh,
I
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
dude,
one thing to
it
go up
was
in the creek. If you wanna go up in the creek and fish it, like,
sure, sure.
whatever. But, like, these guys are, like, launching at the creek and going up in these creeks that are not even really big enough for a jet boat anyways, and spending the entire day up there with
Yeah.
clients who are paying them hundreds of dollars. I'm like, "Dude,
That's what I
I
saw too. I don't know.
bro, like, I don't like, that's some
It was
dumb
crazy,
shit."
man. It was crazy. I'll say that. It was because honestly, like I really legitimately did not see that's not
No.
true. We saw 2 other boats one
We
day
saw some on the
on the last
yeah.
stretch that we did.
Yes, we
Yeah.
did.
But
We
other
did
than that,
see
that was the only time I saw people other than at the trips.
which is wild to me. And like you would go, I was thinking like, oh, we'll run up in this creek that's by the
Dude,
house.
for some reason
And
I'm breaking up very bad. Am
well,
I are you are you
no,
having pauses or breakups?
you're
Okay, I
100% good
am.
on my end. Yeah, must be your internet. But
I
yeah, I
don't know
mean,
why my connection is super, super slow right now.
yeah, you can disconnect or
Give me a
connect or
second.
whatever. I keep going. I can monologue about this creek thing. I can go in all day, bud. This is just this bullshit fishing, dude. Yeah, I mean,
All right.
it's pretty
Oh,
terrible.
yeah,
But
I mean, I don't I missed some of your rant
now,
maybe, but I'll
now
just say this, I
that being
definitely
said,
noticed it too. I thought it was odd.
yeah, that being said, like
Because only
you got,
because, like, we found them. Like, they were I felt like they were not just in those spots, so
we 100% did, which I thought was the. Here's the thing, Chris, Chris, I will give Chris credit for this pattern because him and Alex definitely like cracked the code on the first day we were out there, and I didn't experience it because we were doing something else. And when we went out the next time on the main river, I was like, okay, let's do it. And immediately I was like, oh yeah, this is
yeah.
what they're doing. Like, and it was cool because, you think of pre-spawn, you know, pre-spawn is one of those times that like back home, like here, it's not quite like that. I feel like the fish are just kinda everywhere feeding. There's not very obvious areas where they stack up because fish spawn on our rivers because you kinda have to reverse engineer it, right? Like, you think about, like, okay, I know fish are on beds right now on the Susquehanna. I just saw a guy fishing, said they're on beds. So we missed it
Mm,
by a week that they would be on beds. Now I don't know if all of them are beds, but we knew they were getting close because that water temperature was popping. It was hiking every day that we were there. And you got to think like, okay, if these fish are going to be spawning within the next couple weeks, like they're not going to be very far from where they're going to be spawning. So you think about, okay, where do fish spawn? And we know from previous experience, creek mouths are obviously one, but they spawn on the back of islands, in the sides of islands. That's like a really common area where they spawn. And yeah, you can tell how you found the pattern because when I finally saw it for myself, it was like one of those like, oh, this is actually cool. Like we really like got a pattern that we could apply to other places. We could apply to like here if we come here again, and nobody was doing it. Nobody was doing it,
damn,
which is
dude.
crazy. So, am I breaking up?
I'm losing you for like 45 seconds at a time.
Well, we can pause it if you want. Let's pause it.
I don't know. I mean, my speed test says everything's fine.
I don't know. Sometimes, why don't you get off and come back on? How about that? I'm gonna.
We're just gonna have to re-record because this is
Well,
crazy. I can't.
it,
I'm
it's
not even able to participate in the conversation. You're so
yeah,
like,
I know, but it actually has been going fairly well. Even I've just been talking more. Um, so what I was saying is, I was talking about how we were reverse engineering from the spawn, right? Like you have, you think about the creek mouths, that's why those fish are there. But like we're a week or two out from these fish spawning, and you're like, okay, you know, we know that they spawn on the back and the sides of islands. Like we know that from other trips. That's like where these fish spawn for whatever reason. That is just where they spawn. And like if you've been in the Susquehanna, like there's tons of islands. And like for me, it was really cool when you figured it out. You guys were telling us, we went to the next spot, and I was like, first spot I pulled up on, I was like, okay, this looks like a spawning area. Like I'm gonna fish this seam off the back of
Right.
the island. And I like threw my swim bait up there, and I didn't catch the fish, but I had a monster just absolutely just crush that swim bait. And I was like, oh shoot, like yeah, that's the fish. And we did it like 3 or 4 other times. I actually missed that day. I missed like 4 absolute giants the first
Yep.
4 islands that we went to. And then yeah, from then on I was like, dude, yeah, this is like where the fish are at. And like it was fairly predictable. I was like I said, it was like one of those times where I hit a pattern where I was like, dude, we like legit got them cornered. Like we got them cornered.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I mean, um, yeah, it was great, man. It was good. That was really really fun to be like have them dialed to the point where you're like, okay, I know I'm gonna hit some here, and I
Yeah.
know I'm gonna hit some there, and
Yeah.
as long as you were willing to put in the time. And then by the fourth day, the fishing was phenomenal. I would say,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the
like
4th day.
the fourth day, like the last day we were there, I was yeah, we crushed them the last day. So, and they had
Yeah.
moved kind of to more generally just like anywhere where there's a current break, you could find them pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, there was definitely moments in this trip where I was getting frustrated. It didn't seem like your boat was as frustrated at times as I was. I was getting, especially that second day,
Yeah.
there was there was points in the day where I was like, dude, like what is going on? Like there was never like, oh, we're not catching fish, but it was just like, dude, I know there's fish around here. Like, why are we not getting in? And we were getting a lot of like a ton of follows and short strikes and things like that that were just like really irritating. Um, but yeah, the last day when which honestly my best. I don't even think I told you this story, but the last day after you left was probably my best like it was my best like streak. Um, and
Like
we
that night?
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
we got Alex and I had we hopped around to like 3 different ramps, and we got to this one ramp, and we both like were fishing this bank, and there was actually quite a few people out on this particular stretch. 'Cause it was Friday, it was a nice day. I think that was like the
Yeah.
day where more people were out, and Alex caught a 19, and I caught an 18, and we are like, okay. And then we kind of went on a little bit of a dry spell, but for like maybe like 45 minutes, we didn't get a bite. And I was like, you know what, man? We're thinking about moving ramps again. I was like, do you want to move ramps? And he's like, yeah, let's just run back. So we ran back and also found 2 other feeder creeks right there, by the way, that we didn't go in. I was like, dang, those look good. We should have went, but we decided to go back to a place we had fished before earlier in the week because we knew there were fish there. And went and got put in, and I actually ran into a guy, Tony Bryant from Virginia. He was down there at this particular area, and said hi to him or whatever. And Alex, I ran way upriver, and we were like, okay, we're gonna float down the section. And it was kind of one of those things which we can talk a little bit about it too, about the morning thing that we were texting about, because I feel like
Yeah.
there was yeah, yeah, so, like, there's a lull in the middle of the day. That day was no different. It was, like, the middle of the day, it was kinda like, "Yeah, man, it's starting to wear off a little bit," and then I was like, there has to be an evening bite. We haven't stayed out late enough to get really an evening bite. There has to be an evening bite. We were fishing through some, like, really good looking stuff, and, uh, and I was like, we probably had 2 hours left to fish, and we knew we had to go, and it was the last 2 hours we're gonna fish the whole trip. And I told Alex, I was like, "Man, I just wanna catch, like, one more nice one on this day. I think that's all I wanna do." He's like, "Yeah, man, I wanna catch one too." And, dude, it was just about that time. It was like, bam, 18, bam, 18 and a half, bam, 18, 18, 18. Dude, I just started absolutely crushing them. Like,
Nice.
it was like boom, 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 boom. I think I caught like 6 over 18 in like 20 minutes.
Holy
Like,
smokes.
I was smoking them, dude. We caught a few, or I caught a few smaller fish, and Alex could not get bit. Like, they're in the same type of thing as me, not the
Oh,
exact
man.
thing, but same type of thing. And I was like, I finally caught we still had like an hour left to fish, but I was like, you know what, man? I was like, here, you come up the front. I was like, I cut my swim bait off because I actually, like, I don't know how it happened. I like got tangled with him and his broke off. So I cut mine off and I was like, here, dude, just use this, come up in the front deck. And we must have just moved past the spot where there were a bunch of fish. When we get down, this is really funny. We get down to this area, and I think he might have missed a couple or something. Yeah, he missed a couple fish, and I wasn't even fishing. I was just like running the trolling motor from from the console and like whatever. And we get back down to where we kind of took off from, and Tony was still there, still catching fish, by the way. The dude was like
Oh, man.
crushing them. And, he goes he goes, "Yeah, man." He goes, "There was a fish busting shad right there on the bank." And he goes, "I couldn't catch it though." And like just about that time you see like it was the only time I saw it the whole trip. There was a ball of shad that like came out of the water. Like there was obviously a smallmouth like chasing them. And I was like, "Oh, Alex." I was like, "Throw in there." And he like throws in there, kind of a bad cast at first, and then throws in there again and reels in, doesn't get bit, throws in like 3 or 4 times, doesn't get bit. And I was like, dude, I was like, I gotta at least throw in here. And I grabbed the munchie. It was the only thing I had tied on first cast, dude. I got fucking hammered.
That's
he,
so brutal. I
he,
hate
took,
that.
he took the swim bait and hooked it on the reel, and he goes, "Dude, I'm hungry. Let's go get something to eat."
Yeah, no shit. Get me out of here. Golly.
It
That's
was pretty
brutal. I
bad.
did that to Danny one time, like 2 years
Oh
ago, and
man,
dude,
yeah.
it was like a 20 and a half on Lake Huron. It's a monster, and he did the same thing. He tried to catch it for, like, and we could see it, it was, like, moving around this big rock, like, way out in front of us, and we could see it was just, like, black moving around, like, surfing around, looking, and he tried, like, 4 or 5 casts at it, just like eventually I was like, okay, I got to do one that's like getting too far away. And I like, and it just immediately ate it. I was like, oh man, it's such a brutal fit. You could take almost no joy in it. So, yeah, Alex, man, he hammered him. I felt like,
Oh yeah, Alex probably caught more fish than I did the during trip. But he was
the
definitely
first morning we had a
ahead.
little bit of a rough time. Like because the weather was crazy and like it took us a minute to find out where they were. But after that, I felt like pretty much for the rest of the trip, we kind of had them cornered. So yeah, and I
Yeah,
never met Jeremy before. Great guy, awesome
yeah.
to have him on the trip. He was, yeah, he was very very helpful and very good fisherman. So
Got us out of a couple jams.
got us out of a couple jams. Yeah. So, anyways, dude, it was very fun.
Yeah,
Um, from a fishing perspective, I would say I have to rate it very highly. I thought it was pretty good.
I would. Yeah, it was on. Yeah, like last year's pre-spawn trip was almost a complete bust.
Yeah.
That was like
We
that
caught
was
some fish, but it was
yeah.
eh,
Well, yeah,
it was
complete
also
bust
earlier.
in our sort of like our rating system. I've had worse, but when you take into consideration where you're at and all that, and it wasn't. It was just the springtime is such a volatile time of year because weather can change on a dime, and like temperatures, water temperatures can plummet or rise, and all that. Even a warming trend can be bad in the spring if it's too fast. You really like um consistency, whether it be flow, temperature, or whatever. The fish definitely don't like sharp changes of
Yeah.
things. And Yeah, I think and it was I would say it wasn't, like, super consistent while we were there, but it leveled off as we were getting there, and I think that sorta helped our cause, but, yeah, man, I think that, if, like, 10 is the best trip we've ever had, in which we know the one we're talking about, the first and best trip we've ever had, like, this falls, probably like a 7, 7.5 maybe, I would give
Yeah,
it,
it was
like
good. Plus, you and Jeremy won the intra house tournament, dude.
uh, I feel like no, it wasn't me and Jeremy, it was me and Alex.
Oh, you and Alex. That's right. You and
Yeah,
Alex
we
won.
had a little on day 3,
Little
we had a
tourney.
little tournament. I feel like there was money mentioned, but after we won, nobody wanted to mention it, so, um, but
Yeah.
it was, like, best 5,
There
and it
was no money mentioned. There was
I
just
clearly
for
said
their
$1,000 before the
I
thing and
did
I
not. I
shook
didn't.
on it. We
That's
shook on it,
bullshit,
dude.
dude. No money was mentioned. I think it was
Yeah.
explicitly the stakes couldn't be lower was the joke throughout there. But
Um,
what did you guys? You guys won by what? A half an inch or something?
I think we had a 95 even, and you guys had, like, 94 and a half, 94 and a quarter, so, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty good, though, like, 95 inches, like,
Dude,
that's
the next day,
good.
we had 96 on my boat, and then
Yeah.
we went out in the evening and had 95 on the same day.
Yeah,
So,
that's probably the one, like, evening thing that I was really jealous of because it sounded like you boys had a good time that
oh, that
that
time too. The night with Alex was, yeah, pretty good. Anyways, it was a great trip, man. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I thought it was I'm always very intimidated by that river though. Like it is very intimidating. It's so wide. There's so much water. It's hard to run. It's a very technical even when the river is fairly high, this was easier than any other time I think I've been out here to run my jet boat. We
yeah,
didn't
but
hit anything really.
I
Um,
definitely hit a couple things. Nothing, like, crazy. I know Jeremy said something about his a teeth chattering hit with you, so I know you at least hit 1 rock. I don't know when it
with my
was.
trolling motor, for
No,
sure.
I thought he was saying the main motor.
No, I didn't hit any rocks. I hit like a shallow sandbar when I was trying to get on plane once.
Mm.
So it probably felt like a rock, but I didn't hit any. No damage really to the boat at all
You
from the
sure
entire
about that?
from the from the entire
You
trip. I
sure
would say.
about that?
Well, other than my trolling motor, yeah. The boat's fine. The boat's doing great. But I do need lithiums if some son of a bitch is listening to this podcast and wants to sponsor us. Yeah. I need lithiums
Well,
because the water being up like that, dude, fighting against current, I burned my acid batteries up so freaking fast. It was crazy.
yeah, I burn my lithiums. I only have a 24-volt system, and I really want to switch over to 36. I just don't want to spend the money on a new trolling motor, but um, I burned mine the first day because it was the wind and the current. Like it was like,
Yeah.
I mean, I was on 10 all day, but after that day, I didn't ever run them down. Um, Word to the wise for anybody with lithiums. I've had this happen twice. If your battery ever like goes completely dead, at least the ones I have the BNO power ones, which they're like nice, like name brand batteries, and it will go into like a safety mode when it gets down so low, and like you can't charge it. Like you have to jump it with another battery. You have to basically put like jumper cables from positive, positive, negative to negative, then put your charger on it, and then the charger recognizes it, and then you can charge it up. That saved my bacon figuring that out. So if you're ever in a situation where you completely drain one of the batteries, I don't know that you're supposed to have to do that, but I do know the BNOs do that because I've had it happen twice now. So
Wow.
yeah, um, yeah, word of the wise. But yeah, I mean, we had a recommendation for I have to say it was the GOAT of
Yeah.
fishing trip restaurants to
Yeah, we
go
went
to.
back there 3 times.
I we did. We went back there. Did
What
we
was
go
it
back there
twice?
before?
It was
No. I mean, hang on. I'm trying to think here. Did we go back there that last? Oh no, we were actually
yeah,
we're going to go back after you left, and they
yeah.
closed early. So we went to a different restaurant that very last night, which was cool. It was on the river. The last restaurant, literally out the front, we ate outside. You could see the Susquehanna. It was actually really cool.
Oh,
Uh,
that's nice.
but yes,
What was the name of the place where we went? I can't even
Stony
remember.
Creek Inn, Stony
Stony Creek
Creek
Inn.
Inn, came highly recommended, and it was, dude, it was amazing.
Very good.
Chris ate the same soup 3 times.
It was
So
all and then we had the pretzel crab roll thing that was phenomenal.
I
You know,
there
I'm not
wasn't a
trying to
bad
blow up
thing.
anybody's spot. You know, if it's your favorite restaurant and you don't wanna see a bunch of people there.
Yeah, some people get mad when you blow up spots, so, I mean, you gotta be careful. Naming spots can be tough, you know?
So, I would
Blowing
say
spots
the
unannounced,
crab
even tougher.
the crab cakes were phenomenal. I love that place, dude. I thought it was so good.
Dude, it was amazing. Yeah, I was like dude, it was like, anytime anybody recommends a restaurant, you're just kinda like, "Yeah, whatever," you know? I've been to a lot of restaurants, especially around there. You're kinda like it's not a major city, so, the food in those places tend to not be quite as, like, good as, like, a major city. Dude, that place, that would be like a five-star in Indianapolis for sure. Like, dude,
Yeah. It's very good.
it was small too.
And the
Small
music, the
place.
ambiance on that first time we went was
S Somebody put
just
six
phenomenal.
six sixpence none the richer on, dude, I was
Every
digging
time.
it.
Every time I put sixpence none the richer on that bitch.
Kiss me.
Every restaurant in Pennsylvania's got a jukebox, and I've downloaded all the apps now. I've got all the apps. I know all the ways to operate those things, and I can always
Is that a
find
Pennsylvania
sixpence none
thing,
the
the
richer.
jukebox thing?
Yeah,
Is
man.
that a
Every place we go has a jukebox in there. Of course,
hmm.
they're all like the new ones that you have to have an app for or
I mean,
whatever,
dude,
but yeah.
between Stony Creek Inn and Sheetz, dude,
God,
like,
Sheetz is so good.
you can have anything your culinary experience is gonna be
You're
absolutely top notch, dude.
I gotta say, like, their gas stations are so good. Our gas stations are shit here.
Yeah, I don't know what it
Ruckers,
is.
Sheets,
The
like, they're all
Ruckers.
really nice. They've got good food and, like, food to order. I
Yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
eat out of our gas stations. They're weird.
Yeah, they're gross. They have, like, roller hot dogs, dude. That's, like, the
Yeah.
best thing that we have, or, like
Roller dogs. That's I will say that's a metaphor for the difference between Pennsylvania and Indiana. The people in Pennsylvania seem way angrier than
oh
the
my
people in
god,
Indiana,
dude. There's,
but
like
but
yeah.
why are you angry? You've got the best river in the world, and you've got gas stations that don't make you feel weird going into them.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. I would live in Pennsylvania if it weren't for the people. Let's be honest.
Mm.
I
Well,
I don't know. I got
that's
love
a
for a lot of Pennsylvania people,
I was
dude.
gonna
We
say that's a bit harsh.
got a lot of Pennsylvania. It's all in jest, but I will say there is something to like Midwest hospitality because
It's
uses
definitely not
there's a
this yeah.
distinct difference when you come here. And I would say specifically on the water. On the
Yeah.
water. Like fishermen in Indiana,
I got some waves out
super
there this time. I got some waves when I was out there.
yeah. I didn't really see many people unless I was like
That
I mean,
last day I did.
dude. I mean, the one we were trying to go up in one of those said creeks in the evening. Just to I mean, I will say if you do get up there, like, and there's not a bunch of boats, like fishing can be absolutely phenomenal. Like, there's a
Yeah.
reason why there's those people there. So it's not like I like, oh, I never would go there. It's just that, yeah, whatever. But one night we are like, okay, we'll wait really late and go up there. And we like went up there and there was like people blocking. There's like people were acting super weird. Like I was kinda like, I don't know if I should go around them, and they would kinda, like, almost maneuver where they, like, didn't want you to pass them, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Just, like, fish behind them the whole time?" Like, I was just trying to get around them and go to a spot because they were, like, anchored. They're, like, anchored in the spot, and I was, like, working up this bank, and I got within probably, I don't know, 50 yards of them, and I was like, "Oh, I'll swing out really wide and go around them," and then they all of a sudden, they took it off spot lock and just started, like,
You
going
know
up.
what's
Like,
weird
what
about
are we
it is,
doing
like,
here?
it was the closest to, like, and it wasn't even close, okay, just for the record. It was like a close to, like, what you see, like, those combat fishing
Yeah, at
videos.
times, yeah.
It felt a little like that, and what was so odd about it is that it's a huge, huge river. So it's just weird that there were that many people kinda shoved into those small spots.
It's because there's a lot of fish there. You know, I mean,
I get that. I mean,
there's a
I'm
lot of
not
fish there, but and you
I'm
don't
not
have to
judging
work
it.
very hard to catch them. Like, you
I'm
just,
not
like,
judging
go
it.
cast at the bank and they'll eat. Like, it was not that hard to catch them in those creeks.
Yeah.
But there's also a ton of fish out on the main river too, and it's not like, I mean, it's not like it took, like, it's not like you're going out there and having to, like, fish in 20 foot of water with live scope, and, like, it wasn't like that. Like, we were fishing in, like, 3, 4, 5 foot of water, like, with moving baits. Like, they were eating. Like, it wasn't like it was like, "Oh my gosh, it's so hard to locate them," you
I
know?
think from my perspective, like, I have no issue with it at all. I think it's very smart. That's where the fish are. That's where you should go. I don't really feel that weird about it. I just feel like it's just not for me. Like, with all the boats around and, like, I don't know. I go out there to kinda get away a little bit, and I feel like it's stressed me. It would stress me out. Like, being
I'm gonna go completely different than that. I think it's the dumbest shit I've seen in a long time. So, hey, if you wanna go do it,
Yeah,
like, go do
no,
it.
I don't at all. That's my point. Is like, it's just not for me at all. Like,
Yeah.
like, I also look at, like, the same thing with, like, the Maumee River run, the Maumee walleye thing.
Yeah.
Have you
Those
seen
guys
that? Where
the
there's just,
guys
like,
that yeah, they stand, like, shoulder to shoulder. Yeah.
also doesn't appeal to me. But obviously people enjoy it and good for you. Just to me, guys that fish off of the piers on Lake Michigan, same way.
And honestly, dude, I'll throw bed fishing in there even though that I've done it before. It's in the same category. Like, it's kinda like I like, it in a vacuum, is it fun? Yeah, it's fun. Would I choose to go do that over, like, with an opportunity to go do something else close by? No way. And am I gonna make fun of the people that choose to do it a little bit? Yeah, I'm going to.
I don't blame I'm You can make
Yeah.
fun of whoever you want, dude. It's your podcast and you can make fun of people if you want.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with being like, "Oh, we're such great fishermen," or anything. It's like, I would rather spend a day on the main river and catch, like, 12, 15 fish than go up there and catch 40 and, like, be packed with sardines, and because, I mean, it's not really sporting. There's I
So, I didn't really do any of that. I didn't actually I just saw it as I was going by. I didn't ever when I
No, I
saw
didn't either. When we got there
I
and there
didn't
was
actually
people there, I'm like,
I
"Fuck this,
thought I was
we're
gonna say,
out."
I thought you did, like, one where you went there and there were tons of people there, and so you, like did you just turn around and leave at that point, or what'd you do?
Yeah, you could say that. Or we fished,
Oh, yeah.
well, there's a couple of times. One of them we went up in, and I was like, "Okay, there's, like," it was like you could see 2 boats when you went into the creek, and then
Mm,
as I got up further, I saw, like, 2 more ahead of them, and I was like, "Fuck this," so we just left.
gotcha.
Um,
Okay.
we fished the mouth of it and caught some nice ones, but even that was kinda like you had to spot lock in, like, 100-mile-an-hour current. It was not easy.
Mm.
Um,
How useful did you find your talons when you were out there this time?
I used them a couple times. Yeah, they're okay. I if I had,
What
like,
is your, like, general thought? Because, like, I haven't really even talked to you about this, but you put one for the people that, are listening, he put one Talon on the back of his jet boat.
Mhm.
Um, do you
I
notice,
can't
like,
put 2.
oscillation?
I couldn't put 2 because of the way my setup is. It wouldn't there's no room for it on the other side. I couldn't steer my motor,
Yeah.
basically. I would have to get some fabricated for, like, the pods if I were to do that. Um, I, at times, have used it, not very much, like, actively. I would say most of the time I'm using it is when it's in either really slow water, 'cause it doesn't do great if there's, like, a lot of current, it's, like it's hard to get a good bite unless you have, like, a muddy bottom or something, and where there's currents, usually rocky. It'll
Mm.
help, like, I did anchor in some of those areas, but as soon as you, like, go up in the front and it lifts that up, then and you start going, it's hard to get stopped again.
Oh,
Uh,
interesting. Okay.
but I use it more so, like last year on the Menominee, there were a couple times where we wanted to stay completely still, and it was in shallow water. So that was the most I've ever used it while I was fishing. But honestly, the best thing is when you beat your boat to like go get your truck or whatever. That's honestly when it's the most useful because I just tap it and it keeps my boat from moving.
Hmm.
You don't have to tie it up. That's
So
like
going back, would you buy it again?
yeah, for what I pay for it, for sure. Would I buy like a $2,000 one? Yeah, maybe not. I've thought about getting, if I would do it, I think dual ones would make a lot more sense because you could really hold you. But I don't even that in a river with rock. I don't know how well it works, but I like it. I would do it again. Yeah, it's a good addition to it. Yeah, I like it. It's simple too. Not much to screw up.
I
So
wish I could put one on the front of my boat.
you can put one of those, I know you can there's a trolling motor mount for the micro power poles.
Hmm.
Yeah, somebody was telling me about that you can put a micro power pole in the front.
Well, I just noticed that, like, most of the time I like facing the front of my boat up toward, like, into the current,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, I can see that.
That way I don't have
Yeah,
to fish, like, downstream, if that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, it
Sometimes you
would.
could do it where you, like, are off to the side of a spot or whatever, but
Uh-huh. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't there I mean, it's kinda one of those things I feel like the spotlight does the job most of the time. It's just
yeah.
if it's ripping current and it's too much for spot lock, those things aren't gonna make a difference anyways,
Hmm.
you know?
Oh,
They're just
there you
gonna
go.
it's gonna
Honest
drag you.
review. Honest
Yeah.
review of the single Talon on the
It's a
jet
cool
boat.
it's a gadget. I think I like it. I like it better than not having it, and it doesn't add much weight, and it hooks up to your cranking battery. So,
What do you think the next thing that you wanna do for your? Because you did a stainless steel or impeller this year,
uh,
and,
yeah.
did you do a stainless steel sleeve too? Or what else
Yeah.
did you do?
No, they don't make
The
stainless
liner?
steel sleeves, or at least the
I thought
people
you
that
did something else. Did you do like a new jet foot or something, or what'd you?
No, I just did, yeah, I put that was an impeller and stuff in last year. Um, I I haven't really done any crazy upgrades, some storage stuff, need some mounting type stuff. What I wanna do is put wet liner on the bottom of my boat, honestly.
Ooh,
That's
there you
that's what
go.
I wanna put is wet liner because honestly, I'm not even worried about my boat getting dented and stuff. Like, if it happens, it happens. I'm
I'm not
more
worried about mine getting dented at all, basically.
No. No, your boat is a tank. It's
I
been
think my
through a
boat
lot. It has a
I
lot of
was
trauma, dude. That boat has a lot of trauma. It's seen a lot of shit. Uh,
Oh,
uh,
boy.
but, you know what I hate is, like, aluminum grabs everything. It's really, like,
Yeah,
grabby, and if I had Wetlander on it, you would be able to slide it over stuff. The only thing with Wetlander, you can buy that Gator Glide and put it on yourself. It's not terribly hard. It's like a two-part epoxy thing that you can brush on. It's not hard to do, but you have to remove the motor. That'd be the hardest part and turn your boat upside down. So
that's pretty
it
hard.
I think removing the motor wouldn't be that hard. It'd be finding somewhere to put it. Like you have to build like a little motor stand
I bet
for
your
it.
dad could do that. Your dad would know how to do all that shit.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be that hard. You'd have to unhook some stuff. It wouldn't be. Yeah, the only thing I'm not 100% sure on is how you unhook the. I know how you unhook everything besides the electrical harness. I don't know if there's like a central. From what I can tell, there's not like a central like harness that you would unplug. So I don't know how you do that. But yeah, turning your boat upside down, I could accomplish that. It wouldn't be that hard. You have to drain your gas tank and stuff. But yeah, the Gator Glide, the whatever wetlander type stuff on the bottom to make it slick. That's what I would like to do. And you can take it places to get that done. But if I did that, I would probably want to go take it and have K5 put on it, which is that the like impact resistant type stuff that they spray on it too. And it's like $5,000 to do it on the boat. And at that point, I'm like, do you want to put $5,000 into that boat? I don't know. You know, kind of like if I'm gonna put $5,000 into something, I might just get a new rock proof or something. So
Now
yeah.
you're talking. All right. Well, dude, thank you very much for
Are
listening
we
to the
ending it
podcast.
without telling the story? Is this
Yeah, dude, we're ending
are
it.
you trying to get all Chris? We're debating. I was pro story, Chris is anti story.
I'm
Here's
anti.
my only fear. I have no problem because this probably the best story that it's probably the best story we've ever had. Like all things considered, that nobody died because easily we could have died.
Yeah.
You know, unscathed is the best story. Um, so my only fear is that it never gets told, that we forget about it and nobody tells it. Because if it's a year later, it's going to be tough. Or like this fall, it's going to be tough. So if you want to save it, if you want to save it, I'll save it. But it's got to be like in the it's got to be the next episode, and we got to have a guest on. That's what it's got to be.
Save it.
Save for next episode. Deal?
We'll save it. Yep.
We're not
For next.
saving it for the boys trip. We're not saving it for the boys trip because
All right.
it'll be diluted by then. But we gotta have a guest. We'll have Jeremy and Alex on. How about that? Jeremy
All
and
right.
Alex
Sounds
can
good.
come on. We can get all the perspectives we can get all the perspectives of the story.
Oh boy. All right. Sounds good. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. And as always, dude, free the damn fighter. Free
Free the
it.
fighter, baby.